This is Sensei Bach, the world's greatest martial arts master. And you're listening to the Slam Fam Wrestling Network. Welcome to the family.
Thought you were ready.
Dude, I'm eating some raw cauliflower. DDP says all raw vegetables all day long. All right. Folks, welcome to episode 84 of Off the Chest of Timothy Regal. I am your host, as heard on What Happened When with Tony Schiavone, the most famous man on the Slam Fam Wrestling and in pro wrestling in the state of Iowa, Timothy Regal. I am joined, as always, by the 7-star mind, Alex McCarthy. Alex, what is going on?
I'm the greatest Pokemon master in the history of the Slam Fam Wrestling Network, Regal.
You're playing Pokemon. I just started DDPY.
You should start playing Pokemon Go with us.
I really should. I needed to re-download the app. I will tell you right now, my quads are absolutely freaking killing me.
Yeah, did you do it today?
I did. I'm on day 2, and I did it both days. So that diamond dozen ain't no joke. I'll put it that way.
Are you still doing it in the chair?
Yep. We're gonna be in the chair for a while.
Yeah.
And I think I'm gonna talk about this on the podcast. We'll probably give little updates throughout because it's all about accountability, and I think if our listeners are in on it too, I think there'll be some accountability there. No, I decided to make the plunge. I got on DDPY. They have a new program, fairly new program called DDPY Rebuild. You can actually start in a bed. I started on level 2. I started in a chair. It's I never thought you could build up a sweat while sitting, but yeah, you can. It ain't no joke. It gets your heart rate up, it gets your blood pumping. I already when I walk around, I'm already after 2 days feeling the difference in it. So
good difference.
Good difference. A little bit of, like I said, my quads are killing me a little bit, but I can definitely feel the difference because my muscles are engaged now and. I guess God dang it.
And your phone is not silent.
And my phone is not on silent.
Oh, Regal's playing the classics. Silence your phone, damn it.
What the heck happened to Josh Gordon?
Is that Jeff's son?
No.
Left turn!
No, this is football.
Oh.
Okay. But, Alex, you had an idea.
I had an idea. Hey, I got an idea.
Hey, I got an idea. My Michael's, I think, is a little better than yours.
Yeah.
You know who does a really good Michael?
Who?
John G.
You know who else is really good, Michael?
Who?
Michael P.S. Hayes.
Oh, yeah. You had this idea. There's a thing floating around the internet. Our buddies over at Ringside Chat, we've been doing it.
Yeah, some of my 3XW friends have been doing it too.
Yeah, the 30-day wrestling challenge.
Yeah.
Now, we're recording. It's been kind of a busy week, so we haven't had a lot of time to actually watch actual wrestling. I still haven't watched New Japan from this morning.
I haven't watched.
I watched Raw and SmackDown.
I haven't watched 205 NXT or the Mae Young this week, which are the 3 things I watched.
I watched NXT and the Mae Young. I have not watched 205 Live yet. I made the mistake of watching Raw and SmackDown this week, and good God, I wish I could have those 2 hours of my life back.
I think I listened to John and Way for both this week, and they did not sound too great.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're not going to take 30 days. We're going to give you the 30-day wrestling challenge in one podcast.
Woo!
So, I'm going to let Alex read them off because he's got them pulled up on his phone.
Yep. All right. Day 1. Favorite current male wrestler.
Okay, I'm going to give a caveat on this one right away. Besides Seth Rollins, because, Homer.
Why not?
I just think it's wrong if I pick Seth Rollins.
Okay.
I got to go Kenny Omega, obvious. And I think that's not going to be a shocker to anybody.
All right. You want mine? Or you just want to do it?
No, you give yours too.
Okay.
You're not the audio nerd here. This is
fair enough.
You're the co-host.
Right
Some
now,
days I regret that, but
right now, yeah. Right now, I guess. Shit. I'll say Brian Cage.
Brian Cage, that's an interesting pick, man. I'm not gonna lie. I love Cage. For me, it was either gonna be Kenny Omega or Kota Ibushi.
Yeah.
I think Kota Ibushi's having the best 2018 of any wrestler on the planet.
Yeah.
So Brian Cage, though, that's an interesting pick. Why Brian Cage?
I just love watching him. He's just had some great stuff lately in Impact and elsewhere. And just one of my favorite moments from All In was him and Jordynne Grace.
That was amazing.
That was one of my favorite moments from All In, honestly. As I said, the Battle Royal had the people I was most interested in.
That moment in the Battle Royal, I can tell you that crowd was electric. Jordynne came out of that Battle Royal looking like a star, and I think it's, first off, how is Jordynne not in the Mae Young?
I don't know.
Or I expect Impact. I have expected Don Callis to come running out during the Battle Royal with a contract in hand.
Yeah.
It's literally that good.
All
Number
right.
2.
Favorite current female wrestler?
Wow, we're gonna flip right this. I'm gonna go Jordynne Grace.
All right.
I know some people out there some people may listen to the podcast still may not know who she is if you haven't seen All In. She is a young lady. She is 24, I want to say.
Something like that. No, she's 23.
23
She
years.
just turned 23.
Just turned 23, and she is an 8-year veteran of pro wrestling. She started when she was 15. She started. I know she wrestled around here. She was in the Midwest for a couple of years. Worked for IWA a lot. Moved down to Texas. She's now on the East Coast. She is about 5'2", and built like a brick. Her Thick Mama Pump is her nickname, and
yes.
she is a lovely young lady who I had the good fortune of meeting at StarCast. I've been a big fan of hers for a while, but she is such a sweetheart. So, and I think it's a damn shame. Like, TNA needs to sign her up. Tessa Blanchard and her had what I think was the match of the night at Warrior Wrestling. So, yeah, for me it's Jordynne.
For me, it's Tessa. Tessa Blanchard. Love the character, love the heel persona. She's the best woman wrestler out there for me right now. I'm a big fan of Tessa.
Okay. Yeah, Tessa would be right up there. If you had to pick somebody WWE, who would it be? Just real quick. We're already on this, but I want to give WWE a little bit of.
Yeah. Honestly, Shayna Baszler.
Shayna.
I just love the legit feel that she brings to every match and her character.
I'm gonna say right now, for me, it's Becky.
Yeah.
I love the heel, the turn. Whether you think she's a heel or a babyface or not, but I love the edgier persona and not just hey, I'm Charlotte's best friend pretending to drink tea. Which I did not like at all. But yeah, for me right now, Becky Lynch.
All right. Favorite wrestler ever?
Ooh, this is always hard. I think on Ringside Chat I put Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Rick, obviously. I'm gonna give you my top two because I can never differentiate. It's either Rick or Randy.
Yeah.
For me.
For me, it's Randy.
Yeah, me too, obviously. Anybody that's ever listened to a Pipe Dream episode knows that Randy always goes over pretty hard.
Yeah. I love the Macho Man. Randy Macho Man Savage, my favorite of all time. Just, to me, he was the total package. To me, he had the best matches, the best promos, the best look.
Yeah.
For me, he was the total package.
Randy, and then, for me, I always say, I was a WWE fan, but Ric Flair was the guy who made me say, okay, this is wrestling is the most awesome thing ever because this guy can talk better than anybody in the world.
Absolutely. All right, you ready for the next one?
What's up?
Favorite tag team?
For me, it's the British Bulldogs. I know
Really?
that's a team that a lot of people, even especially some of the younger generation, may not even remember. But I actually, as I said, I had a bulldog when we were a kid, and when I was getting into wrestling was when we got this literally got this little baby British bulldog, English bulldog, named Josie, and I love that dog still to this day. I can still remember how much I love her every day. But then the British Bulldogs came out, and not only did they obviously walk to the ring with a bulldog, and I didn't even know until years later about their Japanese stuff, but I knew right away you had the ultimate mix of two guys that were gigantic, but they could move, and they were fast, and they like, especially you go back and watch Superstars, and for better or worse on Superstars, they beat the crap out of guys for enhancement talent. Mick Foley tells a story in his book of just getting the crap kicked out of him. But to an 8-year-old kid, that looks pretty goddamn cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, Bulldogs.
Yep, for me, I would say it would be Edge and Christian. That was my favorite era of tag team wrestling. I do think it kind of killed the business in terms of tag team wrestling with the TLC feuds. I don't know that tag team wrestling ever really fully recovered. Yeah, Edge and Christian, love their promos, love their personalities. Obviously loved them both as singles, two of my favorites. But for me, Edge and Christian, my favorite tag team of all time. Next up, your favorite faction.
As I'm making the hand signal, this one I'm going to school on, baby. All about Bullet Club.
I'm gonna go with the hand signal also, but it's the NWO.
Well, NWO Bullet Club. On Ringside Chat, all time. Well, okay, obviously Bullet Club, but all time, I'd actually say Horseman.
I've always been like NWO, that era, the NWO takeover, like that whole storyline with the original NWO, up until probably about the split with the Wolfpack. Like I even love when there's fucking 80 guys in the NWO. I love the NWO.
Even Virgil.
Even Virgil.
Okay.
How you became a fan?
I've told this story on the podcast, but I'll tell it again real fast.
Go back and listen to it in our archives.
Yes. And don't ask us which number because we never write anything down.
And actually, you can't find our archives on the Slam Fam Wrestling Network.
No, you have to go to another network.
Yeah.
They're still there, but
are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I was a young kid, I was 7 years old. It was 1986, and I walked into my father's best friend, Harvey was his name. He had a teenage son named Matthew. We walked into Harvey's house one night, and Matthew was sitting on the couch in the rec room watching professional wrestling, which I had seen it on TV. I knew what it was, but I wasn't really yet a fan. And I sat down with him and started watching this show, and it came up to a match of Hulk Hogan versus King Kong Bundy in a steel cage match.
Oh, yeah.
And that match hooked me in, and I started watching wrestling every single week after that. Obviously, the Hogan Bundy match is WrestleMania 2. And then I'd been watching for a few months, and then I flip it on one morning to a segment called Piper's Pit. And Hulk Hogan is there talking with Andre the Giant, and Andre rips his t-shirt off and rips the cross, causing his chest to bleed. And basically seeing WrestleMania 2 then going within a few short weeks into the build-up for Mania 3, that's what hooked me as a wrestling fan.
I don't have a cool story.
Okay.
Because I don't remember not loving wrestling. My earliest memories, I was already had the action figures, had the Hulk Hogan t-shirt. There's actually a picture of me and my dad before I am able to walk. I'm like right around 2 years old, probably, maybe even younger. And it's me in like the little Hulkamaniac t-shirt. There's a little sweatshirt that I have in my office. I don't know if you've ever seen this. That's it's a rip-off of the Gold's Gym logo that says Alex's Gym, and I still have it. And
I have never seen this.
I don't remember not watching wrestling. I don't remember not loving wrestling. I don't remember not being a fan. So I don't have a cool story, unfortunately. Day 7, favorite promotion.
Favorite current promotion?
Or I think all time. Too current. I don't care.
Well, because favorite old school promotion territory, I think is another question on there, isn't it?
Yeah, but territory and promotion aren't quite the same to me.
So for me, favorite promotion, New Japan. And I think that pretty much goes without saying. The wrestling is by far the best in the world. And it's got, guys that just go out there and just crush it. Like I said, due to, new developments in my life, I didn't get up and watch New Japan Pro Wrestling because I didn't go straight to the couch. I got up and did other things this morning. But I will be definitely checking out both Destruction shows. If not tomorrow night, then Monday during the day. I'll be watching both shows. But New Japan all the way.
All right, for me, I would say all-time promotion, WCW. Just because that's where some of my favorite memories of wrestling are. Some of my favorite characters. Because honestly, like, I started watching WWF, but like, WCW is like my childhood memories of being a fan or watching Nitro and Saturday Night because...
Well, you've talked about before, your mom didn't let you watch the Attitude Era.
Well, my mom didn't let me watch the Attitude Era. But also, it was a fact of like, So, I'm obviously younger than you. And I'm younger than like the typical like Attitude Era fan, but I was still a fan during that time. So a lot of guys were like 12, 13 during the Attitude Era, and it's interesting because I don't think there are a ton of people around my age who are fans.
You were 7, 8, 9 during the Attitude Era.
Right. And so probably 8, 9, 10.
7, 8, 9, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
In that range.
But like when I was like peak Hulkamaniac was like 94.
Yeah.
So I followed him to WCW because that's when I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
That's when I'm just starting to understand like when wrestling is on and what channel wrestling's on the TV. So I follow Hogan to WCW. And I love Brett, I love Shawn, but I was Hogan first. And so then when he turned and joined the NWO, I'm still like loving Hogan. So yeah, I just say WCW. Current promotion, my favorite, I don't even know. I'll say NXT.
NXT? NXT, I just gave New Japan, so I'll give a different one. For me, outside of New Japan, and it's funny how a year and a half's difference made, because basically I think one of the major topics of episode 2 is me blasting on these guys. Ring of Honor.
Oh, yeah.
Ring of Honor has improved in the last year and a half by leaps and bounds. Now, obviously, me and Alex have debated a couple times on the podcast the propped up by New Japan, but I think what they've been able to do with bringing in and building up some of their own stars, guys like Punishment Martinez, they just signed Jeff Cobb. Jonathan Gresham. They just signed Jeff Cobb, so they went out and got a big get there. They've improved. One of the biggest things they've improved in a year and a half that really, really got me back into being a fan is their production value. Their TV, their shows, because of finally getting a streaming service with Honor Club, they are now putting production at the forefront, which I think just that alone makes your product a lot better than it looked a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm. Up next, favorite manager.
Let's just both say it. Bobby Heenan.
Yeah.
There's no you're not gonna get any argument from either guy on this panel that Bobby was the greatest of all time.
No.
It's by leaps and bounds. The guy just oozed charisma. I mean, and whether he was managing talent, whether he was a commentator, whether he was hosting primetime, and I think honestly, for me, you both the hosting primetime. I think is you go back and watch that stuff with Gorilla, and it's just to this day I can still just die laughing. I will give a honorable mention to Jim Cornette, because we go back and watch 86 to 88 Crockett TV, and Corny just kills me every time with some of the stuff he said. But no, Bobby Heenan number 1, Corny number 2.
Let's go ahead and just for the sake of having a little bit more of a conversation on this topic, since it is such a one and done for both of us. Current manager, since it seems to be coming back a little bit.
Yeah, it seems like Vince McMahon has decided, at least for this week, that he wants managers again. And let me see. I'm trying to think for just a minute, just to make sure. I'm actually going to say Zelina Vega.
All right. You want to elaborate at all?
She's great on a mic. Just the fact that, to me, Andrade Cien Almas was going nowhere. The gimmick didn't get over with me at all.
No.
And then all of a sudden she showed up and they did the thing where she got him to be serious, and then everything changed. She's proven she can. I mean, obviously she's a worker.
Yeah.
She can take a bump. She can get involved physically. She can cut a hell of a promo. Mm-hmm. And be honest, she looks great when doing anything. So,
I'm gonna say Eddie Kingston right now.
I had a feeling you were going that way.
I love Eddie Kingston. His promos have been great. I'm a big fan of Eddie Kingston right now. Zelina's up there. You know who I think my favorite manager is going to be? I give it a couple weeks, because I haven't even seen him do it yet.
Who?
The 23-year-old piece of gold, Lio Rush, baby.
Unfortunately,
I think he has unlimited potential.
That segment got cut from Hulu. I gotta go back and watch it online. Leo can talk, so
I love Leo's promos. I know there are some people like on Ringside Chat that hate Leo's promos, think he's an awful promo, and he is one of my favorite promos in the business right now.
I love Leo. I love Leo wrestling. I love Leo's promos. And I know Leo got some heat on him for some of the things he's done, both when he was on the Indies and when he first got to WWE. But obviously, I think he's learned from it, and I'm willing to give the kid a second chance.
Yeah.
But no, I'm really excited to see where this thing goes with Bobby Lashley.
Me too. All right. Favorite commentary team? I think we're going to have the same answer again here.
Gorilla and Bobby?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Gorilla and Bobby were the best. Just obviously you had two guys that were best friends.
Yeah.
And
is it just me, or is Gorilla the most underrated play-by-play man of all time?
Because
everybody always says JR or Joey Styles or Mauro Ranallo, and I was like, no, Gorilla is better than
Gorilla had a
Gordon
style.
solely gets put over a lot. Gorilla never gets his due, I don't think, as one of the best play-by-play men in the business.
No, Gorilla's definitely underrated. But yeah, you had two guys that were best friends, and they played off each other so well. I mean, go back and watch Royal Rumble. You can watch the entire Royal Rumble 92 show.
That is my favorite match of all time because of the commentary.
Not just the match, but even the whole show.
Yeah.
They're playing off each other, and they're playing up the angles so perfectly. And then the Rumble match itself, where Bobby is just turning it up to 11 the whole time, and Gorilla is just feeding into it. And it's gold. It's great commentary, and then it's just great comedy as well. I'm gonna give a special shout out though to I know our buddy, friend of the show, SCW Mike Man, Zach Davidson. His favorite commentary team of all time is Jesse and Vince.
Jesse and Vince were good.
If you got to look at that era where Saturday Night's Main Event was the big deal.
Yeah.
They were the commentary team for Saturday Night's Main Event, and they Vince would be the over-the-top babyface cheering announcer, and then Jesse would be the heel, and he'd be like, I'm getting really tired of your biased announcing, McMahon.
All right. Favorite entrance theme? This one's hard for me.
The NWO, for me.
Yeah.
The original black and white.
Okay.
Because when you turned on Nitro and that theme music hit, you knew some shit was about to go down. DX, I think, for me, also has to be thrown in there. That music, it's the opening. It's, you hear those three words and you know what's about to happen, and it just, instantly the crowd just shoots to their feet and is pumped.
I agree. But I think mine would either be, ironically, both of mine are stables also. One song that I just loved was the NWO B Team theme song. The
live band theme from Sold Out.
Yeah. That one and Evolution is a mystery.
Really?
Evolution. Loved that song. Yes. Love
that's
Line
an
in the
interesting
Sand.
pick.
Love that song. One of my favorites. Actually, I'll throw a bone to the Four Horsemen's theme song too. Ironically, all of mine are stable theme songs. I can't think of a particular worker theme song that I really loved.
The single worker theme song that I'm going to throw out there is Ultimate Warrior.
Oh yeah,
because it fit the character so perfectly.
Oh, for sure. I also love the X Factor theme song.
for the wrong reasons. For some reason, as you've ever, if you, I think I even did a Facebook Live video of me and Sean like rocking out to it when before Epic when X-Pac was there.
Yeah. All right. Favorite match.
And I'm gonna do the same thing we did on Ringside Chat with this one. I'm gonna give you the current, and I'm gonna give you the the modern era, and I'm gonna give you the all-time. All-time Savage Steamboat WrestleMania 3. And Austin Brett WrestleMania 13. I'll give you two there.
All right.
And then for me, modern, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Kota Ibushi from Wrestle Kingdom 9, and that's what I want to talk about why. I got Wrestle Kingdom 9. I did not get the live pay-per-view. I got it on a flash drive from our buddy Doug Ritter the day after. And I watched the show and instantly drawn in from even the opening fatal four-way tag match for the junior title, the UWFI rules match between Suzuki and Sakuraba. Every match on the show is great. But then when it got to a match that they were third for, I want to say, I can't remember if they were the co-main or if they were third from the top. Because it was the three big match. The other big match was Naito and AJ, and that may have been the co-main. But I'd never seen Shinsuke Nakamura before. I may have seen Kota Ibushi once on like an old Evolve show.
Yeah.
But those guys went out and just had. At that point, I thought it was one of the greatest matches I'd ever seen, and instantly, that's when my brain clicked and said, I need to go and I need to watch New Japan, and I need to be watching New Japan on the regular basis, and I need to deep dive into stuff and figure out, what this company's about, and basically it was the gateway in New Japan into becoming the hardcore New Japan fan that I am now.
Wow. For me, I said it earlier. I'm gonna do two.
Okay.
I can't think of a modern one.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 92 Rumble. Just the commentary, the story that they told, and just the it was just one of the greatest Rumbles ever. And then my other one, let me see if I can get the date right. July 6th, 2000 and maybe 3, and it was two guys that are probably not even in my top 10 favorite wrestlers of all time, but they told such a great story that I've loved that match. Jeff Hardy and The Undertaker on Raw, and I believe it was a ladder match.
Yeah, it was a ladder match.
Yeah.
Yeah, that match, I mean, you go back and look at, like, greatest Monday Night Raw matches of all time, I think that has to be up there.
Oh, yeah. And I remember watching that, and I think I had just turned 13. It was right after my 13th birthday, and just watching that, and I was like, I loved that match. And it was just so different from any other ladder match ever, and just the way Jeff sold that sympathetic babyface, and at the end of the match, he earned Undertaker's respect.
Yeah.
Like, what a phenomenal story.
Yeah.
All right, day 12. Favorite old school territory.
I already know what yours is going to be, so I'm going to say the other one. For me, it's Jim Crockett Promotions.
Mm-hmm.
I will always carry that banner. As I've told the story on the podcast before, but my cousin Steve came over one night and said, "Hey, what time is it? I think wrestling's on." I said, "Wrestling's not on Saturday night." He goes, "Oh yes, it is," and he turned on World Championship Wrestling on TBS, and I got to see Sting and Ric Flair and Barry Windham and Arn Anderson, and this was right before, like, the weeks before the first Clash of the Champions. Was the first time I watched it, and I instantly I said this was completely different from WWF, but I knew I loved it. I knew I loved the Horsemen, and I started watching pretty much every week after that. And even through 89, 90, I love Jim Crockett Promotions. And then gone back now, obviously, with WWE Network, and gone back through 85. And
how much is that WWE Network?
$9.99.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And I've watched some of the NWA Mid-Atlantic stuff from before that. So yeah, Jim Crockett. So go ahead and tell us, Alex. Tell us all about the Mid-South Coliseum, if you will.
Memphis is probably my second favorite.
Oh, really? I figured Memphis would be your first by far.
No. I'm Jim Rinnick, and I'm here to say that the greatest wrestlers in the AWA.
Oh, God. No. AWA gets disqualified just because of the Wrestle Rock Rumble.
Oh, Regal. The Wrestle Rock Rumble was great.
Oh, God. I figured Memphis would be your number one.
Memphis is my number 2.
Okay.
Memphis is my number 2. The AWA is my number 1. I think just like growing up in Dubuque, and my dad we paid for a lot of pay-per-view back in the day. We paid a lot of money for all of these pay-per-views, and the AWA, they used to run reruns of the AWA pay-per-views on DirecTV, like before WWE bought out their library, and we legally bought all of those pay-per-views. And I watched them, and I loved them, and I was like, this took place in Chicago and Minneapolis, and places that I'd been to, and just learning about the territory days. And like at this time is when I was like going to the library and checking out like every wrestler biography I could, and reading Bobby Heenan's book. And I cannot think of his name right now, but I read the biography. I want to say Larry Nelson. He was one of the He was like the B or C announcer for the AWA, and the Carnegie Stout Public Library in Dubuque had his autobiography, and just learning about
I didn't even know Larry Nelson had a book. Okay,
I want to say it was Larry Nelson. It might have been somebody else.
No, I think you're right. I think it's Larry Nelson.
And I know Larry Nelson was an announcer. I'm not sure if he was the one whose book I read, but I read one of the AWA announcers' books, and I just loved the AWA. And obviously, we had the AWA on ESPN Classic, the old AWA TV show from ESPN was on there, and I was a big AWA fan. Memphis is definitely my second, but my favorite territory is the AWA. And the next question is, Regal, favorite gimmick?
Beaver Cleavage?
God damn it.
No,
Margaret? No, I'm kidding.
Favorite gimmick? Can I say Jake the Snake Roberts?
Sure.
The Snake. Can I say Damien? That was a gimmick. Damien. Because whenever you go to Palmer Auditorium or Wharton Fieldhouse and Jake was on the card, that would always get the hugest pop of the night, was when Jake would pull Damien out of the bag. But are we talking gimmick as a wrestler or gimmick match?
Gimmick.
Okay, so
I got
gimmick,
wrestler gimmick, I think.
Okay, so yeah. I'm going to say Jake the Snake Roberts and Damien.
I'm having a hard time thinking of one, honestly. I'm trying to think. Because I'm looking at my favorite eras and some of my favorite guys, and a lot of times some of my favorite stuff was when it wasn't very gimmick heavy. Like the WCW had more realism, and I'm sure as soon as we're done with this, I'll think of my favorite gimmick.
JR said, "Funny don't equal money."
Is JR the one that said that?
Yeah.
Huh. I thought that was a Cornette thing.
Okay, so since you can't think about, I'm gonna throw out another one because I just thought of one. The New Breed.
An ECW?
No, the New Breed in no, you're thinking of Bad Breed. New Breed.
No, I'm thinking of the WWE ECW, the New Breed stable.
No.
Okay.
The New Breed. They were a tag team in Jim Crockett Promotions in '87 and '88. Chris Champion and oh god, I can't remember the other guy's name. I always remember Chris Champions.
I thought of one.
But their whole gimmick was they were from the future, and they were set back in time by President Dusty Rhodes. They thought Lasertron was an actual robot. One of them had a broken arm and had a cast, so they made it look like he had bionic implants in his arm. But they would do things like at one point they actually had them walk by Dusty and refer to him as Mr. President. They came from the year, I think, 1997, and Dusty Rhodes was the president.
All right, mine's Chris Masters, the masterpiece.
Ooh boy. So
Mark Storm's favorite wrestler.
You're gonna get heat.
I love that gimmick though, like the entrance and the statue and the music, and it was the total package.
You're gonna get heat with Mark Storm.
That's fine. Close second, Rick the Model Martel, I guess. Yes, I am a model.
You like the arrogance?
Yes. Most missed wrestler.
Oh, and for me, there's a lot that could go here. Missed in the fact that obviously Owen Hart is going to be on the list.
Yeah.
I'm going to go a completely different direction with this one.
Sure.
Sick Nick Mondo.
Okay.
Nick Mondo was a guy who was a deathmatch wrestler when I was first getting into independent wrestling.
Mm-hmm. I remember him.
I absolutely was enamored with everything he did. Obviously, the clip, a lot of people have seen the clip of him and Zanding from Tournament of Death 2, where he took the bump off the top of a building, which essentially ended his career. But he decided to retire because he was already getting way too injured. And basically had to completely leave the business. He said he couldn't go. He said he literally said he couldn't go to shows because if he did, he would want to be a wrestler again.
Yeah.
But I love Nick Mondo. And a guy who was a deathmatch wrestler, but he could also go in the ring. He could actually have really, really good wrestling matches with people.
I'm gonna go a weird route with this too, I guess, since you did somebody that's still living. I'll do somebody that's still living too. I'm gonna say CM Punk, and this is why. I miss loving CM Punk, because at 2011 and before that, before he got bitter and turned into a prick, I loved CM Punk. I don't think that I could get excited about him again if he came back. But, I miss the Punk that I loved. I'll put it that way.
That's fair. And to this day, I'll tell you this much. There's still CM Punk shirts that are hanging in my closet.
Yeah.
I'm not going to wear them, but I've still got them.
Right. All right. Up next, your favorite babyface.
Favorite babyface. I'm gonna say Sting.
Okay.
No, actually, I'm gonna put Sting as number 2. Number 1, I'm gonna go WCW, Monday Night War era.
Yeah.
Diamond Dallas Page.
Oh, I know you love Diamond Dallas Page.
Yeah.
You know that from any Pipe Dream episode that you listen to. Regal loves his fucking Diamond Dallas Page.
Screw you. No, I love DDP. And I'm not just saying that because I'm now on DDPY. No. I when he became the guy, and the guy who, basically, the thing everybody forgets, he was the first guy that got one up on the NWO.
Yeah.
He was it made it look like he was going to join the NWO, that he gives Hall the Diamond Cutter, and they were in the Superdome in New Orleans, and he runs into the crowd, and he makes the Diamond Cutter symbol, and the entire crowd's doing it with him, and he became the blue-collar, fighting from underneath babyface that WCW needed against the NWO, and
they never pushed him. They kind of did, but it was almost too little, too late.
By the time they gave him the world title, it was way later than it should have been.
Yeah,
they should have gave it to him. He should have beat Hogan.
Yeah,
that's.
Didn't he win it a fucking 4-way or something?
Yeah, he won it in a 4-way, and
with Sting. Was it Sting, Flair, and Hogan?
Sting, Flair, Hogan, and
the referee.
With Savage as the referee.
Yeah.
Spring Stampede.
99.
Yeah, 98.
Okay.
But no, he should have beat Hogan. And I think, they waited too long to give him the belt. But no, DDP in that era, best babyface in the world.
All right, I'm going to say... I've changed my mind a couple times now. Yeah. I'm gonna name two.
Okay.
Daniel Bryan, because his babyface run in what year was that? Was that 12? Yeah, 12, maybe 14.
Yeah.
It was 2014. Him taking down Evolution in one night and becoming the champion, that was awesome. And then another one who just always seemed like a wholesome, good guy, and the only time he ever had a heel run was in, Russo WCW, and I've met him, and he is a wholesome, good guy, one of the nicest guys ever. Ho! Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Hacksaw's a great dude.
He really is.
Yeah. And a great... now, here's the thing. You want to see... You thought heel run WCW. Go back and check out Mid-South.
Oh, he was a heel in Mid-South.
His Mid-South heel run is great. But no, everybody remembers him as the blue-collar babyface, and you always wonder what happens if he doesn't have to go away for 8 months, because that derailed him, and they basically made him the almost comedy underneath babyface, where they were going to they were building him up as the badass babyface role where where WrestleMania 3, where he comes out with a 2x4 and beats the crap out of Iron Sheik with it.
Yeah.
They were building him up as a badass character, and then him and Sheik get busted. He goes away, comes back at SummerSlam '88, but they never pushed him as much as they did.
I honestly thought there was a time in '93 when Hogan left that it looked like he might have been the big baby face, and then I think they ended up going with Luger and Brett instead.
Yeah.
But there was a time when it looked like he was gonna, because he was the first one to take Yokozuna off his feet, wasn't he?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and now favorite heel.
Oh, there's so many, so many. Favorite heel. I know it's gonna be cliche.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Mr. McMahon. I mean, back in that, and you can say what you want that it developed into basically a trope that will probably go on forever, unfortunately. But when he made that initial heel turn against Austin, and from week to week, you had to turn on the TV to see what Vince was going to try to throw in Austin's way and how Austin was going to get around it.
Yeah.
And, it literally, he basically becoming the embodiment of the boss that you hate, and you're watching Stone Cold be the guy who flips the middle finger at his boss, beats the piss out of him. It worked on every level, and Vince owned. It really is just an extension of Vince being Vince, but it just turned up all the way to 11. But he owned it, and for years he said, Bruce Pritchard obviously has talked about it on his podcast that, no, nobody will care. Then it happened, and Vince, said, okay, whatever. But when it happened, he owned it, and greatest heel of all time.
All right, I'm gonna say The Miz. Miz's heel stuff has been great. His feud with Daniel Bryan, his title run. I was all in on The Miz at that time, and I think he's a guy that's always delivered on the mic, and it's kind of interesting because I always say he's a reality era heel, because your baby faces are the guys who broke in on the indies and worked so hard and started from the bottom, and if you look at Miz, he started out on reality TV. He went on the Real World, went through the WWE system. He's a WWE guy first and foremost. And he is that through and through heel. So
here's the thing with Miz for me. I went from not liking The Miz to loving The Miz to absolutely hating The Miz during his the babyface run was the worst thing ever.
Was not good. No.
No, it was garbage.
Yeah.
to him going back to being a heel. Then I was like, oh, it's The Miz, whatever. And then, literally talking smack. And then it's like, wait, whoa, what the fuck just happened?
I think it's the first time we've cussed on this episode.
Yeah, it is. The talking smack thing, and then I'm like, okay, now, and I'm seriously praying, like, have him be the guy that beats AJ. If it's not Joe, it's got to be Miz, because the guy is...
Joe's heel stuff is amazing right now, too.
Oh, Wendy! I love the meme, by the way, where it's Joe at the Wendy's drive-in.
Nice. I'm also going to shout out, obviously, one of my favorite of all time, not actually a wrestler, Andy Kaufman. His heel promos were incredible. All right, Regal, what's your favorite finisher? I got to think about this one.
Favorite finisher? I'm trying to think. God. I'm going to say the Sweet Chin Music.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Sean.
Yeah.
Simple, but he can hit it from anywhere.
Yep.
And very few... It was protected. It was a protected finish.
Yeah.
The other one, and again, one of the things that a lot of people don't like about modern wrestling, Jake the Snake Roberts DDT.
Yeah.
I mean, when Jake hit you with the DDT, the match was over.
Right.
It was done. Nobody kicked out.
Right.
Nobody ever kicked out of Jake's DDT. Whereas now, guys do DDTs in the middle of a match and pop right up like nothing happened.
Right. I mean, there's some guys that do pile drivers off ladders through tables in the middle of the match and pop up like nothing happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, so yeah, Sweet Chin Music and Jake's DDT. I'll say those two.
I'm going to say Powerbomb, just from anybody, because it just looked devastating. And then, oddly enough, for some of the same, I just always loved the way a good bicycle kick, like a bro kick from Sheamus looked. Just one of my favorite finishes. That would always be either my signature or my finish when I created a guy on wrestling. That and, okay, I'm going to pick three. Mick Foley's double underhook DDT. Just love the look of it. Always, my finish when I was a backyard guy was always a double underhook DDT. Don't know why.
That's an interesting choice.
Yeah. All right, this one you love to hate. I don't see how this is different than heel, but...
Person I love to hate more than anybody in wrestling.
Yeah. I can think of one.
I just about said that one. Braid McBride.
You do love to hate Braden McBride.
I hate Braid McBride. God, I hate that kid so much. So yeah, I'm gonna stay with us. I'm gonna stay local on this one. Yeah, it's Braid McBride. God, I hate that kid so much.
I'm gonna say Eric Bischoff.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah. Eric Bischoff, just because I loved his, like, when he'd come out and he's like, I love each and every one of you. You are all my best friends. We are so glad. You know what I mean? When he just cut that, like. And another one I'm gonna say, like 2000 Kurt Angle, when he's just like I'll be like, I'm a good guy, milk drinking.
Olympic heroes for abstinence?
Yeah.
I gotta give another one.
Okay.
Because even though he's, one of my heroes now, I hated him back then.
Yeah.
Bruce.
Oh, Brother Love.
I gotta go with Brother... I love you.
Eric used to say that too. Conrad Thompson must just love people that love people.
Yeah. No, but yeah, no, literally... Brother Love got just go away heat from me every single week. I could not stand Brother Love as a kid.
All right, favorite storyline.
Oh, I'm gonna go a little more recent.
Yeah.
Because of just how the execution was, and literally going from me first seeing it saying this is the stupidest thing in the world to me going, no, this is the most amazing thing in the world. It's the Broken Universe.
Mm-hmm.
What Matt and Jeff were able to do in TNA with the Broken Universe, I mean, unfortunately, it didn't. And I wonder what would have happened if Don if we had the people in charge of TNA that we have now,
Yeah.
what they could have done with it and what it would be like now. But what, even in the vacuum, where if TNA wasn't good in that era, what Matt and Jeff did with the Broken Universe was amazing, and they told a story in wrestling in a different way, and they took it completely out of left field and over the top, but they made you become invested in it, in everything that they did, from, even things like, it's an extraordinary xylophone. It's like, what the hell are we doing? And, Senior Benjamin, is Matt sick? No, he is woken.
Alright, gosh, this one's hard for me. I'd say the NWO invasion. I'd say that in, like, the Sting turn.
The Crow Sting?
Yeah.
Okay. Not the Tomato Wolfpack Sting?
No. God, no. No, the Crow Sting. Yeah. Alright, what's your favorite submission, Regal?
Ric Flair's figure 4 leg lock.
I'm gonna say Bob Backlund's crossface chicken wing.
Yeah.
There's just, I don't know, the way guys sold that and the way Backlund sold it when he was putting it on just made it seem like a killer move.
Yeah, and, I mean, Rick's because it was Rick.
Yeah.
With the figure 4, the way he put it on, and especially with guy like the way Steamboat would sell it.
Yeah.
And the way, if Steamboat would get out of it, for the rest of the match, Steamboat would sell his leg. So
yeah.
you really thought that this move killed somebody's knee.
Right. Alright. Most overrated.
Oh, God. Besides Roman?
Wow.
Lex Luger. Lex won Wrestler of the Year in like 96 or 97, I think, and I still to this day wonder how the hell that happened.
Yeah.
But now for me, I'd say probably that in 90s era Lex Luger. Now 80s era Lex I loved, but when he was just coming up, and he stayed in his lane. When they tried to make him a franchise guy, especially WWF Lex Luger, I mean, it did not resonate for me at all. I was a Bret Hart guy in that era.
Yeah. Alright, jeez, I'm probably gonna get heat for this one. For me, it's kinda Sami Callihan. I just don't get it.
Get off my podcast.
I just don't get it. I just don't. He's good, but he's not. To me, he's not as good as everyone seems to think he is.
You're really not alone in that feeling. I do know some people that don't like Sammy.
I don't dislike him.
Yeah.
I don't dislike him. I just don't think he's a main eventer. I don't think he's that big of a deal. I think there's a spot for him on the card. I don't get why people think he's as good as they do. That's all I'm saying about it.
Which where I'm the exact opposite on Sammy, where I love Sammy. So, especially because I went to a lot more AEW shows than you, especially when he was the champ. So for me, the draw, as he likes to call himself, I'm on a different plane with Sammy. But no, I mean and like I said, you're not the only one with that opinion, probably. So,
all right, most underrated.
Most underrated guy, on a national level, I will continue until the day he becomes a main eventer to beat the drum for Cesaro.
Sure.
The guy's probably one of the, people don't even understand how strong he truly is, physically.
Yeah.
He has to me, a natural charisma about him that I don't see why they never gave him a bigger main event push. I mean, I know that's obviously been documented with the Stone Cold podcast with Vince and all that. They talk directly about him. But I just think Cesaro. And I'm going to give a shout out to a local indie guy that I think is criminally underrated by the entire business, Bucky Collins.
That was going to be one of my answers.
Bucky is a guy who, I always say, I'll say this. To me, you know what Bucky is?
What?
He's 30 years too late. In the territory days of wrestling, Bucky would have been a journeyman heel that everybody would have brought in to just be a little laughing hyena, asshole-ish heel.
See, I think 30 years ago he would have been a manager because of his size.
Well, maybe manager because of his size, but he would have made money in the business.
Oh, yeah.
He would have drawn money. But no, Bucky is, and Bucky is, as much as the persona and the promos and all that, Bucky also can wrestle, and he can.
Bucky's one of the most innovative people I've ever seen in the ring.
And he gets excellent matches out of everybody, and works in a way that's old school that he doesn't do. You know, he doesn't need to do a million moves in a match. He can do one move, and he can make the crowd have a reaction to it.
Yep.
And I will always say, people never. I don't think there's a lot of people that understand how truly good Bucky is in the ring.
All right. Mine's Tito Santana and Bucky Collins. I watch 80s Tito, and I'm like, fucking strap the rocket to this guy. Why is this guy not getting a bigger push? Why has this guy had great matches with Greg the Hammer Valentine, with Macho Man Randy Savage?
Because they made him Hogan's buddy.
But, like, and then they fucking stuck him with El Matador. Tito Santana's better than fucking El Matador. And honestly, I just never understood. I thought Tito was a great worker. Had incredible babyface fire.
Now, Matador was in that era where everybody had to have a gimmick. And unfortunately, but Tito, so good. I mean, go back and where you can really see really good Tito, go back and watch the old school section, the old MSG house shows.
Oh, yeah.
Watch his matches from those where he would get 10 or 15 minute matches with guys.
Yeah.
And would just put on clinics every single night.
Absolutely. All right, your favorite feud?
Ooh. Trying to think of, because there's got a lot of choices here. Favorite feud. Flair and Dusty. Actually, no. I'm gonna say Flair and Steamboat.
Okay.
The ultimate, and when I say Flair Steamboat, because obviously that went in through different eras. I'm talking the '89.
Okay.
The series of matches they had, the trilogy of matches, the Ricky coming out with his wife and Ricky Jr., the family man, the white meat baby face, and then Rick coming out in his $1,000 in his $10,000 suits, having 4 women on each side of him, the Playboy telling Ricky go home and help the missus with the dishes and that kind of thing. The Clash of the Champions face to face in ring, where Ricky snaps and literally beats Rick while he's ripping the suit off of him and strips him down to his underwear and socks. Just the playing of the two characters, and then this trilogy of absolutely classic 5-star matches that they had. So I'm gonna say that is probably my favorite feud of all time.
Kaufman and Lawler. My favorite feud.
So I mean, obviously, it's sitting underneath you right now. The poster that I got you at StarCast of the comic book of Andy Kaufman and Jerry Lawler. But no,
The one wrestling match I've had in my career, I was not Alex McCarthy. I was Andy Kaufman.
Oh, yes, Alex. For those of you who have not seen it, last year's 3XW Costume Battle Royal, Alex was Andy Kaufman and Ajax Adams was Jerry Lawler, and Alex took one bump off the ring apron.
Yes, I took a bump on the ring apron, the hardest part of the ring. I did not take a bump on the ring apron.
You took like a half bump to get eliminated.
No,
from the battle room.
I didn't even bump.
Did you just lay on your feet when you?
I laid on my feet.
Okay.
Yes. All right. Dream match.
Dream match.
Yep.
Oh. And I'm going to kind of homer this one. Kenny Omega versus Seth Rollins.
All right.
I would love to see those two right now, where they're at right now, in a ring. With I don't care where, I don't care when. Just let them just go. I think you just have the most insane, amazing, technically sound match that you could ever see.
For me, and I don't really understand why, I've wanted to see this match for a couple of years now. But for me, it's Brian Cage and John Cena. I think that would be a great match. I think Brian Cage would be a great kind of monster heel for Cena to work against. And I just think they'd have a great match. And I'm not even that big of a John Cena fan. But I think that would be... But I do like John Cena. I don't hate John Cena. I think that would be a great match. And it would be kind of like an old school, almost like the Hogan heel machine era. Like, just seeing what they could do together, him and Cage. But yeah, that's my dream match.
I'll give one more just because
you do whatever the hell you want on this show.
Hulk Hogan versus Bruiser Brody.
Oh yeah.
And it's been talked about that there were rumors that right before his death that Brody was going to come in.
Yeah.
And Bruce actually talked about that a couple weeks ago and kind of dispelled the rumor. But here's the thing, Brody was all about money, and was all about making money for his family.
Yeah.
In wrestling.
Yeah.
And his wife, if you've ever the Bruiser Brody documentary on the High Spots Network is amazing.
Yeah.
And his wife talks about it that they had discussed it because Frank knew he could make a ton of money working with Hogan in New York.
Yep.
And that is something.
How much would that have changed wrestling history if that feud happened?
Oh, I think it changes a lot.
Yeah.
I think a lot changes if Frank doesn't get killed.
Yeah.
If Brody doesn't get killed, I think a lot changes because Brody. I mean, he'd been around for a while, but he still was fairly young.
Yeah.
And he still could have had 10. He probably still had about 10 years left in him.
At least.
So I think a lot changes whether he blazes the trail as one of the original independent guys, or whether he goes to WWF or goes to WCW. Or stays in Japan. I think
imagine Brody in ECW.
Oh God! Even if in the twilight of his career, if he could have done a couple shots in ECW, I think that could have been huge.
I mean, he's only 5 years out from the induction of ECW.
I guess he is because it was what 89,
88,
88. Yeah, and then ECW technically starts in 93.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Favorite high flyer. I got a couple.
Again, a lot of choices here.
I'll go first. I can go first.
Go ahead.
To me, the business has changed so much in the last couple of years, and the high flyers, and like you almost have to pick a modern high flyer. For me, it's hard to think of. It's hard to put like even someone like Ray or Eddie in the same boat as the high flyers of today. I'm gonna say Ricochet, number one, because he just. You watch him move, and it's just like, what the hell? What the hell just happened? How does a human being move like that? How does he land on his feet? I'm gonna say Ricochet. I'm gonna say Leo Rush, and then the last one I'm gonna say is the kid's on fucking fire, Marco Stunt.
Yeah, I'm gonna go a little old school.
Sure.
I'm gonna say Rob Van Dam.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna say I would give Sabu, not a traditional high flyer, but could do some stuff.
Yeah.
And I think we have to pay homage to the guy. I mean, you said three modern guys. I think to me, really, there's a guy out there that blazed the trail before like guys like Ricochet, is Jack Evans.
Oh sure.
I mean, you go back and watch like the Generation Next Jack Evans stuff in Ring of Honor. Or go.
Jack Evans was in Africa.
Jack Evans was a Generation Next in Ring of Honor. Yeah.
Okay. For me, I thought it was Aries, Strong.
Aries, Strong, Jack, and Alex Shelley originally.
Okay. Oh, I had.
Then they kicked Shelley out when they turned babyface and got Matt Sydal.
Okay, that is not who I thought was in Generation Next at all.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways,
But no, Jack. I think Jack. You go back and watch because nobody was doing what Jack could do at the time, and Jack could do high flying moves that nobody could do, and then you want to talk about a guy who took selling to the next level. Could do that. Would do the type of sell where basically he would just ragdoll himself.
yeah.
I know Doug Ritter loves. He was at a match in I think it was Dayton, Ohio, where it was Jack and Roderick versus Bryan Danielson and Samoa Joe.
Oh jeez.
Joe lariats Jack literally out of his shoes at one point, like his shoes literally flew off.
Nice.
And Bryan at one point did a thing where he took Jack and he put him in a submission hold and then made his feet touch the back of his head.
Ugh.
So yeah, Jack could do things just flexibility wise and stuff that nobody else could do at the time.
All right. Next up, and we need to start moving a little faster. I'm just looking at the time here.
Where are we at?
We're on day 26.
Oh, we only got like 4 more to go. Okay.
Yeah, but we're also running out of time.
Oh yeah, I know.
Company you miss.
ECW.
For me, it's AWA.
For me, I mean, I could say WCW too, but for me, it's ECW just because they were doing something different, and they were something that I found, in my teenage years that was they were the wheelhouse of 18-year-old me. So, where it was blood, it was extreme violence, and it was girls in very little clothing. But then just the fact that you look back and they fed the two major companies with talent because everybody came through there. So yeah, I'd say ECW.
All right, I said AWA. Obviously, just I think having a big promotion based out of the Midwest. Although they were starting to head more to Vegas when they shut down, so who knows if they would have been the big Midwest promotion if they had stuck around. Next up, favorite attire.
Ooh. Favorite attire? NWO t-shirts?
Oh, I thought for sure you're gonna like Sonny in a thong.
Well, Sonny in a bikini, but
I thought for sure that's where you were gonna go.
I would say favorite attire in wrestling, yeah, original black and white NWO.
I'm gonna go Ultimo Dragon.
Always great ring gear.
Yes. Alright. Oh, honorable mention to Mr. Havens. The Argyle singlet.
The Argyle singlet for Mr. Havens from Funky Monkey.
When I was at Funky Monkey and I saw him come out in Argyle singlet, I was like, oh, I'm in the right place.
Alex is like, if I was a wrestler, this is what I would be wearing.
I'm in the right place.
Maybe the 7-Star Mind could get in the ring at some point and you can get an Argyle singlet.
I need to ask Mr. Havens who made his gear. Favorite promo of all time. And I know mine. So
favorite single promo?
Favorite promo.
The Pipe Bomb.
The Pipe Bomb. Okay.
Yeah.
For me, it was Dusty agreeing to be his partner at Clash of the Champions.
Dusty and Dustin. I figured you were going to go there.
That's my favorite promo of all time. You know that.
Yeah, I knew you were going to go there. No, for me, it was the Pipe Bomb. Just because Punk did something that we never thought you'd see.
Yeah.
Also, Bash the Beach 96.
Oh, yeah.
You got to give a shout out to that. Hogan.
Oh, yeah.
Hogan, literally the fans like show. Another one, real quick. Jimmy Jacobs' Age of the Fall debut.
Yes, that's another good one.
I mean, Jimmy's cutting this promo about how these guys have been held down, and obviously you've got Tyler, Seth, and then the shot of Jimmy wearing the all white, the trench coat and the pants, and Jay Briscoe's blood is just pouring. He's standing underneath Jay Briscoe as the blood just rains down on him.
Absolutely. All right, next up, favorite title belt.
The Winged Eagle.
For me, it's the white leather Intercontinental.
Yeah.
Intercontinental was always my favorite, and then when they put it on the white leather, I was like, that belt is awesome.
The Winged Eagle will always be iconic. Also, I'm gonna because it's back in vogue now. I'm gonna say 10 pounds of gold.
Yeah, for sure. All right, and the last one, Here we go with the Regal monologue that we all need. Feelings on the current state of wrestling.
Oh, wow. Honestly, if you're listening to this podcast, I assume you're a wrestling. You're a true fan.
I'm assuming if you're listening to this podcast, you like wrestling,
yeah,
or
like
you
wrestling.
hate yourself.
Or you really, or you just have way too much time on your hands. No. I think wrestling as a whole is better than it's ever been, despite what I may feel about the WWE's main roster, Raw, SmackDown, week-to-week television product. I think their talent roster is greater than it's ever been, regardless of what their presentation is. But also, if you do not want to watch WWE and you want to still watch professional wrestling, it is easier now more than ever to do that. You can watch New Japan on New Japan World. You can watch Honor Club. You can watch WWN Live. You can watch Powerbomb.tv. You can go to your local indie show, which you should definitely always do that. Always support your local independent.
Especially tonight, SCW.
Well, this is
drop till Tuesday.
Yeah,
you about ready?
Yeah.
But
we're almost done.
So for that, no, I'm gonna say, as much as I may not like current WWE roster, professional wrestling is stronger than it's ever been.
Yes. Did you throw scissors in there?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. I'm going to say honestly, and I'm going to get a lot of heat from this, from the old school guys, from the Attitude Era guys. I think this is the true golden age of wrestling because it has never been this easy to consume as much different wrestling products as you can now, between streaming, between YouTube, and people say, oh, there was this much wrestling in the territory era. Yeah, but you could only watch one, maybe two territories. Most people didn't get every territory, so if you wanted to watch something else,
Unless
you had
you do
to
another
trade
tape trader.
tapes.
Yeah,
you had to, and that took weeks. You couldn't stay current on all of those products. The way you can stay current on as many products as you can, the way how every weekend we can sit down, if we wanted to, we could sit down every night, every Friday, Saturday, Sunday probably, and watch a live wrestling show on the internet for...
Well, last night I sat at my house and watched St. Louis Anarchy.
Yeah.
Live from St. Louis on TV. It's the easiest thing in the world to do.
Yeah. But that's my point. It has never been as easy to consume as much wrestling as you can right now, and it's just great. It's just great. Yeah. So, take it home.
Definitely take it home.
Go ahead and follow me on Twitter at OneRealSmartAlex. Go ahead and follow Regal at SCWRegal444. Go ahead and follow the podcast at OffTheChestTR.
Wait, Alex, stop.
What?
Stop.
What?
I heard somebody coming in the door.
Hey, yo.
No, not you. No, not Scott.
Say hello to the bad guy, Razor Ramon. Regal, I heard from my good friend JT Energy that he loved what I had to say to you about him last week, Chico.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You hear me putting over the NWO, Scott?
Yeah, I heard you talking about the NWO, Chico.
Yeah.
But how come your favorite match was in WrestleMania 10 when I beat that punk Shawn Michaels in a ladder match?
It's up there.
It's up there?
Yeah.
The greatest ladder match of all time, Chico.
Hey, Scott.
What's going on?
You gotta go, man. I hear somebody else coming.
Hold on. I gotta go right before I go.
Okay.
How many people listen to this podcast for Timothy Regal? I don't see any hands up, Chico. How many people listen to this podcast for the NWO founder, the American Starship, the Diamond Stud, Razor Ramon? Looks like one more for the bad guy.
Yeah.
All right.
Yo.
Go ahead and follow us.
Rick.
Woo! You interrupted my honeymoon for this?
Ow! Ow! Stop, Rick! Stop! Stop, Rick! Rick! Ah, Rick! I wanted to congratulate you! Rick!
Follow Slam Fam at Slam Fam Wrestling. Follow Slam Fam on Instagram at Slam Fam Wrestling. Like the